Hello everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed and welcome back to Refraction. June related choices this time because this will be the first time we're going down her particular route in the game rather than Paul's. Small choices usually don't matter. I still think small choices don't really cause that much change. This is not me saying. Let's go blue this time. Someone like June. June always speaks her mind frankly and without fear. She's the kind of person who wouldn't feel awkward about just marching up to President Taylor and confronting him in front of the entire school. It would be tactless, but it would also be refreshingly brave. But I can't tell either of my friends. Not yet. I've still only known them for a few months and my team needs to minimize the chances that Taylor will catch on to our investigative scheme. Maybe once all of this is over, I can talk to them about what I've been doing, and how sorry I am for leaving them out of it. I guess I'm still getting used to having close friends. The cool cushion around my head is enough to bring my fatigue to the surface. I close my eyes, expecting to find the normally uneventful embrace of sleep. You've had a hairstyle change. I'll help June today. June pumps her fist in the air looking like she's just won some kind of lottery. Yes, I knew you'd come through for me, Jacqueline. It's Jackie, actually. I'm just helping you with a project. You don't need to think of it as some kind of grand favour. Paul, sorry about this. Maybe I can come with you another time? No problem. It's nothing important. We'll catch up with you later. You'll have fun now. Paul smiles at us before standing and taking his empty food tray over to the counter. Before he's even a few steps away, June had already come around the table. Well, are you coming or what? Slow down and let me finish my drink, will ya? Aww. We are on the cusp of a discovery of a changed humanity as we know it. We know from last time that this is not the case, June. For goodness sakes, there's no time for drinking. June struts off dramatically, picking up my food tray and following her. For goodness sakes, June. With you and that mischievous smile. This is not what I expected. Nope, not at all. Okay, that's not entirely true. If I'd been asked to describe what I thought June's room looks like, this is about what I would have pictured. More than anything, it feels stuffed. Like the contents of a box with 200 square inches of space and 201 square inches of objects to fit inside. The floor was covered with a dusting of seemingly random objects, from a set of neatly stacked bowls 6 feet high, to a couple of giant teddy bears in the middle of some kind of snuggle war. Artwork and posters have been hung in every available space, all 4 of the walls, both sides of the door, and even up across all of the space of the ceiling is littered with garbage. It gives me the impression of a building built entirely of cartoon images, not garbage. No, what I didn't expect is the fact that I've been brought here at all. Although we've been friends for a few months, none of us have actually gone into each other's bedrooms. It's a strange, intimate step that June seems to be taking in stride. Don't worry about anything, just sit down anywhere, if we can. You can take that chair over... No, wait, there's a pile of comic books, never mind, the chair's right over here. She pulls various lumps of clothing to the floor, revealing a soft desk chair that has been entirely hidden. Wow, June, this room is very... What, energizing? Or inspiring? Enough to make your secret nerd heart flutter? I was going to say this is very, well, you. It looks like you filled every surface except for the ceiling light. I'm working on that. Actually, haven't found a perfect thematic light shade yet. Is that a Superman poster on your wall? I thought you hated Superman. Oh, I do. He's an overpowered, fancy, granting snooze fest. Then what's with the poster? How am I supposed to probably hate something if I can't keep an eye on it in my castle? You call this room your castle? I run my eyes a bit, sitting down gingerly on the chair while June goes digging through another section of the room. She's got even me beat when it comes to messiness in her home space, but unlike me, she seems to know her way around and it doesn't take her too long to find what she's looking for as she pulls out a familiar looking headset. Oh god, please don't tell me you dragged me here to make me play that beach game again, the one at the very start of the game. That's how we ended up playing the game in the first place, because it was around here with June playing this game and we was trying to choose our favourite waifu, but unfortunately the game itself just phased out because we needed to make an important choice of whose swimwear that we preferred, but of course the game wouldn't allow us to do that, and I am rambling on for too long. This game isn't just about the beach. Exactly, June, exactly. That's a visual novel. It's not just about the visual aesthetics. And no, this time I want to do something much more productive. This is a different headset, too. Notice that it's wireless? I suppose. June continues to rummage through the piles of thoroughly mixed stuff. I'm starting to recognise a pattern to all the decor, though. It all seems to be memorabilia from various TV shows, games, and comic books. I probably wouldn't even recognise most of these characters, but June has a habit of casually passing on knowledge of the stories she follows, like some kind of cultural osmosis. The products that she hates seems to take up far more space than ones she likes. I look down at a weight in my lap to see June setting a small laptop there. I still don't know what you want me to do with this. It's simple, really. I'm trying to figure out whether my gaming PC has the right setup to handle the kinds of VR games I want to play on this new wireless headset. So I'm going to play a few rounds of Blitz Strike, and the computer will send the numbers to your screen, where you can read them off to me. Can you just put the numbers into the headset along with the game? Too distracting. My next best option was to play the game for a few minutes then pull off the headset to check the numbers, but with your help it would be much more efficient. I watch as she kicks the objects around her feet into various piles, apparently unconcerned while keeping them from breaking. Once she has enough room, she pulls the headset over her eyes, then extends her arms. I'm not entirely sure what she's planning on doing by waving them in the air like that. The blank screen in front of me blinks on, showing a dark environment punctured here and there by flickering street lamps. At the top left corner of the screen are a list of names and corresponding numbers that I don't recognise. Alright, let's see how this thing turns out. I watch in amazement as the screen in front of me starts moving around, perfectly in sync with June's head movements. So this is a representation of what she's seen in the game. I watch as a character behind the camera walks over to the side of the street and picks up a heavy looking machine gun. She's moving her arms in the air in a way that matches the character. But how is that happening in the game when she's not even holding anything? VR, baby. Movement near the street lamps causes her to spin, catching sight of some ugly creatures slinking along the ground in the dark. She turns the muzzle of her gun on them and opens fire, filling the screen with flashes of gunpowder and droplets of blood from her bullets tearing through flesh. God damn. Well, this is a bit different than the game I played, that's for sure. Yeah, there are less swimsuits and more bullets. A lot of bullets. Filled to the brim with bullets. How's my core temperature, Jacqueline? It says 59 degrees Celsius. Great, let me know if that goes too much higher, alright? For someone who doesn't play video games very often, the view is almost mesmerizing. I watch June spinning around in her little circle to look in all directions, seeing the corresponding screen turning as she lays waste to whatever these monsters are. One of the monsters knocks the gun from her hands. She responds by swinging her arms around for a barehanded strike. I doubt I'd be able to have her composure if I were in her shoes. She seems to tear through the hordes effortlessly. None of them ever get close enough to hurt her. We continue like this for some time, June blasting through the game, me reading off different computer measurements for her from time to time. Once she finishes about 3 levels, she powers down the game and pulls off the headset, setting it to the side. Whew. Well, all the numbers look good. The desktop can definitely handle the processing and graphics. Are you okay? You're sweating a bit. Yeah, I was so busy thinking about how the computer was running, but I forgot to keep an eye on the temperature on the headset. I'll have to see if I can find a way of keeping it cool in the future. Plus, the new motion detection prototype they're trying is still pretty laggy. I was having trouble in there. Wait, you call that having trouble? As an expert, you'll be able to fine-tune all of the little things as well as the big things. The little things are hard to credit and find, but they are very precise things to crack out. She sets herself down on the circle of empty floor she created and looks up at me. So, you were watching me play it, right? What do you think of the game? What did I think of it? I don't really know anything about... Oh, come on. Everyone has an opinion, especially about things that they don't know about. Tell me your first impression. June hasn't backed off of a question she's asked since I met her. It'd probably be easier just to answer and get it over with. Exactly, but I wonder if she's looking for anything in particular. Compliment her skills on the game, or just say that it's just flat out title tropes. You are phenomenal at it. Those monsters didn't even get to touch you. June grins softly, ruffling a hair through her hair. Ruffling a hair through her hair. Aw, thanks. But it's not really my skill that did that. The game's AI is a complete joke. Only two kind of monsters, and the only thing either can do is attack from close up. It didn't take much to keep them at bay. Are people supposed to blame the game when they're bad at it rather than when they rock at it? Yeah, well, most people are a little too self-centered for their own good. Despite her denials, I can't help but think that she's still pleased at the compliment when I look at her smile. Well, anyway, thanks again for coming over. It was a huge help. You want to go a few rounds yourself? Nah, not really. I need to get a few assignments worked out before the day's over. Cool. I'll talk to you later then. June flashes me once again before picking up the headset again and pulling it over her head. She needed us for calibration. It's distorting. I keep easing into things, feeling like everything is normal. Then I look at June's face and notice wrong coloured eyes, and it all comes rushing back to me. I'm so certain that things are different from yesterday, but when no one else notices the changes, it's impossible to get validation on that, because we are the ones that are transporting through these worlds, not everyone else. Should I bring the problem up? It is bothering me, but I haven't even been through a full day of it yet. For all I know, I'll wake up tomorrow and everything will be fine again. For now, it's probably better if I keep this to myself. No reason to worry and or creep out June. Leaving June to her games, I show myself out of the apartment and head home. With a little wave back, I want to talk to June about this. I may trust June enough to talk to her about this, but I'm not liking the idea of the entire world hearing about my insanity. I need to go about this carefully. Hey June, wait up. Can I talk to you about something? Yeah, what's up? It's sort of sensitive. Could we sew somewhere? It's sort of sensitive. Could we sew somewhere private before? June rolls her eyes, reaching into her back pocket. God, Jackie, we're not in middle school anymore. If you need a tampon, just ask. That's not what we're asking for. What? No, that's not what I'm asking for. I want to talk about something personal. Privately, please. Okay, I get it. Let's head back to my place. That sounds like a great idea. I step into the familiarity stuffed room, looking around again at the absolute mess of culture surrounding me. Even when the world seems to be falling apart, June will always have her own little mecha of things she hates. Somehow that felt rather comforting. Well, this is my humble abode. I think you can find a chair over. June trails off as I step across the room, clearing off the chair I sat in yesterday and then settling down in it. Okay, that was creepy. Have you been spying on my room through my webcam or something? Oh hell, that's right, Paul and June remembered me going with Paul yesterday. As far as they're concerned, I've never seen June's room before. I stammer a bit, trying to come up with an excuse. June sits down on the edge of her widely messy mattress and turns to face me. Well, never mind. You said there's something important you wanted to talk to me about, and it's regarding the knowledge that there was a chair there. I looked down at my hands, trying to figure out exactly how to put what I'm going through into words. You're not doing anything stupid or illegal, right? Because I'm definitely not the right person to talk to about it. I'll probably just end up encouraging you and then watching from a distance. Wow, June. You really had to do that, making that face, huh? No, nothing like that. It's just hard to describe it. That's all. Just start with a thing that happened earlier, so then move forward from there. Yep, chronologically. Well, June is certainly confident in the simplicity of this conversation, but maybe she has a point. Taking a deep breath, I began recounting the things I noticed in the order I noticed them. A lot of my thought process is starting from yesterday morning, when everything had started going wrong. Once I start describing the differences, I've noticed June becomes oddly silent, just staring at me and nodding her head along with the narrative. Honestly, I'd been expecting her to chastise me for coming up with a story that was a derivative of classic sci-fi norms, or something other than like she always says. I explained the little things about the world that has changed, the change in her eye colour, how today people seem to remember events of the previous day differently than I do. The moment I finish describing these things, June hops off the bed and scrambles over a pile of clothing on the floor. She kneels down next to what looks like colourful miniature skyscrapers set against the wall. It takes me a few seconds to realise that they're actually stacks of comic books, and she appears to be thumbing through them. What are you... Did you hear what I just told you? You're not the only person who's noticed weird things. I've been feeling sort of off about something since yesterday as well. Wait, you have? You noticed all the little changes? Not exactly. Everything about the world seemed perfectly normal yesterday. Except for you. Yesterday you were acting weird. I can't really describe it, but that's what it felt like. Then today you acted all confused about yesterday afternoon, and you changed your hair colour, which is totally not your style. So you're saying that you think I'm crazy? On the contrary, I think what you've just told me clicks things into place. June turns back to me, having expertly slipped a comic from the stack while barely making it sway. She shows a cover to me. I don't recognise any of the characters or the title. It looks like some sort of intense laser battle in space with a bunch of green glowing circles scattered about. Am I supposed to recognise that? I'd be surprised if you did. You'd have to be a real comic bleh like me to be reading stuff this obscure. The point is that it's a perfect example of what I think is going on. We're experiencing a branch of the multiverse, a dimensional drift. Okay, try that again, but without the assumption that I know what the hell you're talking about. It's pretty simple if you're into this sort of stuff, but I guess June has to explain from the top to the bottom. Listen, it's a theory that storytellers have been using for decades. Our universe is a single instance of reality, but there are infinitely many other universes out there that are only slightly different from our own. Or vastly different. Okay, sounds reasonably bonkers so far. Don't you get it? Yesterday you went through a day where the world was almost normal, but with some strange differences that no one else seemed to have noticed. Then today everything went back to normal, but people remembered you doing different things the day before. Somehow, Jackie, you travelled to an alternative universe. An alternate universe. I opened my mouth and started to let out a laugh, about to tell June that the comic books had started to get to her head. But then, I know I'm not insane, because June had noticed me as being off as well. And if I'm not insane, is there really another explanation that's less out there? Let me get this straight. You're saying that I somehow got put into some kind of Twilight Zone version of the world yesterday, and then came back today? Well, the Twilight Zone would be more like something that was subtly horrifying and tried to push some heavy-handed lesson about humanity. But yeah, sort of, I guess. But then why is it happening? What or who is doing this to me? June slides a comic back into the stack and sits back down on the bed. You're asking questions that you don't have any way of answering. What's the point in that? That's sort of what reporters are supposed to do, June. Then we have to find how to answer them. Am I saying that you're focusing on the wrong issue here? If you get transported to this other world yesterday and you came back today, and it's going to happen again, I feel a chill go up my spine. You're saying that it might happen again tomorrow. I don't know, but you better be ready for anything. When we're dealing with something supernatural that we don't understand, well, let's just say that you might not end up in a friendly place next time it happens. Going a little bit too far, people. Ignore the text and go talk to June instead. June doesn't take much convincing to come out to eat and chat. She always seems really eager to spend time with us in doing just about whatever. She doesn't even talk about having any other friends. So it's like she's in a similar situation to me. Someone who didn't really have many connections until our group of 3 got together. Kinda weird not to have Paul here though. Is he busy with some kind of religious ritual or something? Not that I know of. Going to church, I think it would be. No, wait. Not church. It would be something else. I think. Hopefully, yeah, because we haven't got that far into the game yet. Hopefully, Paul won't get the bright idea to head over here for some breakfast himself. I sent him a text back apologising that I wouldn't be able to meet up today, telling him that I'm swamped with homework. I'm sure that it seems like I'm brushing him off, especially since he just wants to continue the conversation we had yesterday. Well, that the alternate version of me had with him yesterday. Anyway, I only invited you. There's something I really need to talk to you about. Really? It must be important if we have to go all incognito about it. What's up? Ugh, this feels so weird. I already had this conversation with June only yesterday, even if it was June of a different universe. Still, as far as she's concerned, this June has never even heard an inkling of what I'm about to tell her, so I need to start from the beginning. At least this time will be a little easier. The last conversation I had was a desperate plea to figure out whether I was seeing things or not. This time I have all of the evidence, and I can start from the beginning with the premises that something supernatural is happening to me. I told June everything from the strange things I started to notice to the premise that there are 2 versions of me, hopping between each other's dimensions. Just like last time, June listens intently, only to ask a couple of clarifying questions when she needs to. When I'm finished, she leans forward, a look of excitement flashing in her eyes. That's absolutely, mind-bogglingly nuts. Oh gosh, I thought I made a pretty convincing argument to my own sanity, actually. Not that, this whole situation is just nuts. You're travelling back and forth between alternate dimensions? So cool. It's like a terrible sci-fi plot comes to life. Thanks, but I'm not the one. But you're not the one who is going through this trauma. Wait a sec. Do you say that this is your 3rd time switching over? Well, I didn't say that overtly, but then that means you've switched an odd number of times. You're the Jacqueline from the other universe right now. June leans forward and begins to look me up and down, as if she expects to see a tentacle growing out of my skin somewhere or something. She's been decidedly more goofy about it than she had been yesterday, maybe because she doesn't need to worry about convincing me I'm not crazy this time. Look, as far as I know, I'm exactly the same as I've always been, okay? There's not that much of a difference between us, except for the hair, of course. And, I don't usually go by Jacqueline. You don't? Isn't that your name, though? Yeah, but it always seems too formal. I prefer Jackie, actually. Cool. Then you're Jackie, and the person from my dimension is Jacqueline. We can tell them apart that way. I was going to use Jacqueline 1 for 1 from here and Jacqueline 2 for you. Hey, we are not second place. My name is Luigi, and I'm never going to be second place to Mario. Hold up there, June. I'm the dimensional hopper. I get to decide who's 1 and 2, or A and B, I guess. Seems like a good way to set us apart, sure. Oh, then what about the other me? The other me. The me from your world. What's she like? I look at June, who's pretty much completely out of her chair and on the table at this point. Despite her calling the situation terrible sci-fi, I get the feeling that she's head over heels in love with these events intersecting with her life. It seems pretty harmless to stoke her excitement a little, right? But maybe I should stick with the facts. Shall we go? Actually, that's the wrong one. I think we should go with a different option. The two of you aren't that much different as far as I can tell. You wear different coloured contacts, spoke Blue. No! I thought that's her default eye colours. You're pretty different, actually, yeah. I could almost see the cartoon sparkles in June's eyes. Really? Let me in on the juicy details. What's different about us? Well, let's hope that my creative writing class can help me with this one. Oh my gosh, not the... June is actually a boy? No. June is a professor, not a student? No. Loves all pop culture? Yes. Oh god, that's the wrong choice. Is a professor, not a student. I'm a professor? That's crazy. What do I teach? Well, you're a math teacher. June laughs, sitting back in her chair and crossing her arms. Thanks for humouring me, but I know you're lying. Exactly. Is actually a boy. I'm a boy in universe? Well, aren't I a handsome one? Well, I mean... June laughs, sitting back in her seat and crossing her arms. Wait, what the hell? There we go. Thanks for humouring me, but I know you're lying. Are all of these lies? Flat glare. We're just going to pretend like you never said that. I don't care how big the multiverse is. There's no such thing as a casual June. I laugh a bit, shaking my head. I guess I really can't trick you, huh? You have to practice a lot more if you want to, that's for sure. The two of you aren't that much different as far as I can tell. You wear different coloured contacts. just whatever choice we make, we're going to be either lied to or disappointed. Sheesh, that's not any fun at all. I want to hear of some kind of space pirate or something. This isn't Metroid Prime or something, June. Really? The first thing you think of when you consider an alternate universe is, hey, I could be a space pirate. Come on, a space pirate is your first answer to every question. What kind of life are you even living? Kind of funny if I choose blue contacts though, but I've always thought the green goes better with my complexion. Incidentally, what colour are your eyes naturally? I'm afraid that's classified information. Private. So you must be heterochromia then. She winks and I laugh. June is an alchemist when it comes to turning disappointment into joy. Yep. Taking one last bit of a cereal, June sets her utensils down. So I think that the professor part is the most humorous. Now then, what are you going to do with your newfound superpower? Excuse me? Come on, you must have realised it. This isn't your world, right? So you can do anything you want. It will never have happened when you go back. I don't think that's how it works. You can get into as much trouble as you please. Well, I had thought about it, but June seems a little too excited to realise what she's saying. Sure, maybe I won't have to deal with consequences, but she and the rest of her world will, along with Jacqueline when she comes back. The idea of Jacqueline doing the same kind of thing while she's in my world makes me feel sick to my stomach. Besides, I'm beginning to suspect the decisions I make in one universe will have an effect on the decisions in the other one. Let's not go full Grand Theft Auto on this yet, okay? What? You make a video game reference? I thought I'd never see the day. It's not like I live under a rock, you know. Hey, Patrick. And, you told me about GTA a few weeks ago. Ah, that's right. My world makes sense again. She grabs a tray and stands up, looking around for the nearest bin to dump it in. Well, you're certainly free to do whatever you like today, but if you're not too busy, you can always come with me. There's some shopping I want to do, and I can always use someone else's eyes. What do you say? Shopping? Knowing June, this isn't going to be a typical trip to the mall to try on clothes. Of course, I'm happy to spend more time with her. I'd go out of my way to talk to her in this universe as well as my own, after all. And it's not like I can call Paul up anymore today after blowing him off like that. But there are other projects and homework assignments I should probably be working on. I have the feeling that the top option goes towards our friend who unfortunately gets the very, very risky and very dangerous task of being with Taylor in the meeting the day before the explosion. But we'll go and tag along. Yeah, with the important choice, it has 3 different options, and that choice could be it. June grins triumphantly, reaching over to slap me on the back a little too hard. Perfect! It's always much more fun to go shopping with friends than by yourself. Come on, I'll drive. We dispose of our breakfast remains. Oh, and also another thing I forgot to tell you. But June in my universe can only ride mopeds. When you can drive 4-wheeled stuff. We dispose of our breakfast remains and head out towards June's apartment building. Hopefully I'll have the energy to keep up with her today. She always seems to have an extra reserve of enthusiasm hidden somewhere within her small body. Maybe it's just reserved for disliking things though. On the way I get a text from Gus telling me that planting the bugs have been a success. The bugs have been planted. It seems like our team is in prime spying position on President Taylor, at least in this reality. I put the phone away for now. We don't usually meet over weekends, and besides I have someone else to focus on right now. June! I haven't been to this mall before. In fact, I wasn't even aware that it was here. There are at least 2 options that are closer to campus, and it's not like I have perfectly specific brands I wear or anything. Besides its distance, there's something about this place that seems different. I can't put my finger on it. It's like something red in a sea of blue, somehow. June, for her part, has a quiet but interested air to her. When we pass by clothing stores, she has a look into the storefront windows out of curiosity. When we pass shops dedicated to things like toys, music and pop culture, she shows even more interest. Pop culture, let's go back. I thought you would say something like that. Yeah, pretend like you never said that. Multiverse, casual, stuff like that. Guess I can't really trick you. You'll have to practice a lot more if you want to, that's for sure. Take one last bite of cereal. June sits her utensils down. Newfound superpower. No, we're not going to do anything barbaric with it. I'm sorry. I can tag along with you. That's damn well for sure. So, when we get to the pop culture. Wait, hold on. Game. For goodness sakes. What is going on here? Where was the pop culture's not even on here then? Wait, did I do the correct thing the first time? Red and a sea of blue. Storefront window. Okay, here we go. She shows even more interest. I figure that we're here for some kind of comic book shop, but that seems like the kind of thing she'd come all this way for. As we turn around a corner, a video game store appears on our left, and June basically has her nose pressed up against the window before I could even read the name of the sign. It's amazing to watch her eyes flick back and forth, up and down, somehow taking everything in with lightning speed. I notice her gaze lingers on a monitor in the back of the shop. It looks like recorded footage of someone playing a game. I know this one. You play as a mechanic dressed in blue who runs around stomping on frogs. At least I think that's how it goes. Is that why we came here? The game certainly looks fun. Nah, that's not what we're here for. I actually already own that one. She turns away from the window and gestures me forward. Almost there. Don't worry, it's worth the travel time. Damn it, time travel. Honestly, June being excited about something that she's not dissing for once has piqued my interest. I'll follow behind her as we turn around a couple more corners, apparently heading for the back part of the store. We pass a procession of steel rolling doors on our left, the kind that block off the stores that have gone out of business. It kind of seems like we're heading towards a bit of a seedy area. I turn the final corner and I swear the blood vessels in my eyes nearly pop with a sudden influx of bright coloured light. It's neon, baby! I have to blink a few times to put everything into focus, but when I do, I see a gigantic store front radiating out of me. The sign arcing over the door has the name Ohio in big pink blubbery lettering. The inside sort of looks like someone sprinkled a regular clothing store with rainbow confetti. It also leads back as far as I can see. I realised what I'd thought were closed storefronts were actually rooms in a mall that have been taken over by this place needing more space. Isn't it just amazing? It's a bit flashy. I know. They go so over the top with a sickening cuteness that it actually comes out the other side and starts being cool again, you know? But I mean, what is this place? I've never seen a clothes store like this one before. That's because it's not a regular clothes store. This is pretty much for cosplaying and nothing else. I rack the tortured archives of my mind to bring up a long-neglected definition. Cosplay. Isn't that when people dress up like their favourite characters? Pretty much. Getting an intricate and perfect costume that you only wear once in your life that costs thousands of dollars. They're basically wedding dresses for nerds. Now come on, you can't appreciate the gaudiness from out here. I follow June into the colourful landscape as best as I can. This place is surprisingly crowded, and I have to do a few expert dodges to avoid crashing into other excited customers. Every now and then I think I recognise a costume, but most of it just seems like the clothing racks from some kind of bizarro world. Left to my own devices, I'd probably be lost among the rows for hours, only exiting the store after I brought a medieval looking pink dress and like 3 human-length swords. June keeps waving at me impatiently, steadily moving towards the very back. What's with the slow speed? I'm looking at the clothes, okay? I'm trying not to crash into people. This place is a gathering spot for all the nerds in the area. They expect a little jousting. Really, June? Is that how you think of it? Jousting? June reaches forward and grabs my hand, pulling me forward. I yelp, finding my body bumping against people left and right as she swerves in and out of traffic, doing my best to shout apologies backwards as I go. It is not up to me, it is up to my friend. Finally, we seem to be in the part of the store that June has been looking for, and she stops pulling me. I pant a bit, running my hand down my clothes to make sure that everything's in its proper place. Oh, these look perfect. She heads towards a particular shelf, but stops shortly as her body is tucked backwards. We both look down at the same place. We're still holding hands at the same time. Almost in unison, we each blush and pull our hands away. A second later, June seems to have recovered, and she darts over to whatever she had been looking at. I shiver a bit, tapping my cheeks and try to get the warmth out. At least most people in the store haven't made it back this far. Not that I would know the difference, but it seems like the clothing and accessories back here are simpler than the ones out front. There are less distinguishing marks than I would expect on a character from a comic book or video game. Without anything better to do, I'll watch back over to June, who seems to be comparing the colours of 2 different ribbons. Okay, so I get what the store is now, but I'm still lost about what we're doing here. June checks a picture on her cell phone, then takes one of the ribbons and moves on. I'll follow her as she answers. Have you heard anything about LakeCon? No, not really. I've been a bit distracted recently. BLUs sometimes hold a convention. That's when a bunch of pop culture nerds dress up, attend panels and buy lots of unnecessary stuff. This one's not as big as the normal ones, but we all still have a lot of fun. It's a closer knit community, which is nice. I'm actually kind of surprised that this thing has slipped past me. Then again, since when I've kept up with the campus events, I'm not really that kind of reporter. So, you're here to get ready for the convention? Yep, getting dressed up and geeking out with a bunch of people is loads of fun. This place exists to sell us the cosplay stuff we need for it. They're pretty swamped this time of the year. I noticed that she's now looking at the plain coloured dresses. But why do we come back here? The costumes at the front of the store were much more elaborate and distinctive. Yeah, if you're basic as blank. I look at June with an open mouth as she giggles. Kidding, I'm kidding, but those are the cosplay outfits that are all made for you from the start. I like to put my own outfits together. Yep, customizable. Basically, they don't usually have the one I'm looking for. I typically like to pick super obscure characters that everyone will recognize. That, I don't think it's actually possible to have both of those being true. I think this one would do. No, the hem is a bit too short. If I had 20 hours and an entirely different set of skills, I could probably fix that. How much time do you have? When is the convention? Tomorrow. Oh, it is tomorrow. June has already moved on to another rack before she realizes that she'd left my shocked body behind. Let me get this straight. You wanted to make your own costume for this thing, and you waited until the day before to do it. It's really not as bad as you think. I work better under pressure. Yes, diamonds are made under pressure. And this way, my costume doesn't end up being out of date by the time the convention rolls around. Right. But surely the memories of that character does not go away. I shake my head. June's self-confidence could probably be used to prop up brick walls. Who are you dressing as, then? Oh, one of the main characters from an indie game that just came out last week. It's your typical boring mold, dresses like a princess, acts all high and mighty, has hair of a shade that could never exist in real life, etc. She's apparently part of an organization that's working to find and capture Ether. Now, this is another thing. Ether is an achievement in this game which has the lines of "so long and thanks for all the effort." That's making a choice. And then as you play video games, impress June with your opinions, which I think I've already done. I don't actually have that actually, so it would have to be something that I need to start over again. Anyways, I'm getting off topic now. But I just thought I wanted to pick up because of Ether. What's Ether? No idea, I haven't played the game. She's just the perfect combination of tired old stereotypes and cultural precision so that my costume will be delightfully gaudy. Of course, I'm going to have to exaggerate her outfit a bit to get the full effect. After that, things start to happen quickly. We spend a long time wandering around shelves comparing bits and pieces of clothing with a picture that June has pulled up. Several times I think I've found what she's looking for, but then she looks closely and discovers a stitch out of place, or a fabric is a shade too light, and we move on. I can't really see the difference in the clothes that she keeps, but she assures me that the distinction is important. Yes, very important indeed. Eventually, with a cart full of various items from around the store, June wheels herself into a nearby dressing room. This is where the long part is going to take place. I sit on the bench outside and put my feet up. It's amazing how much exercise you can get from walking around the store, through every aisle. 60 times! I sigh a bit, but I can't deny that I'm having fun. June's enthusiasm is a bit infectious, and as we slowly put things together, I can't help but gain a bit of a desire to see everything come together. I want to see her wearing the finished product because June is so excited about it and I want to see her succeed. Well, that's not the only reason. The way is longer than I expected. There are lots of pieces that she has to put together, but how long can it take one person to change clothes? I'm considering walking up and knocking on the door to ask if everything's okay. When the handle turns and June steps out. Way! It's... wow. My eyes wander up and down her body several times as if the details are too much to take in one pass. What got into that dressing room was a pile of random cloth. but somehow it was all part of the same uniform, like a painting that has slipped out of its frame. The way that June stands and turns towards me, and the expression on her face are somehow as perfect as the dress itself. I've never seen someone look so convincingly like a cartoon character before. The moment is over. The moment is over in a second, and June's body and face return to their usual relaxed and confident state. She giggles and flips the edge of her skirt a bit. Well, a few of the details are still a little bit off, but what do you think? I realise that my face is completely red, and I quickly bite the inside of my lips so I don't babble out some sort of incomprehensible mess. I'm gonna save here. You look absolutely beautiful. Or it's perfect, you look just like her. June beams brightly and spins around looking pleased. I'm so glad to hear that. I knew that having an extra pair of eyes would be helpful. You make it look so glamorous, almost makes me want to try. Oh, you should, it's a lot of fun. Here, look. Walking dangerously fast in those heels, June rushes over to a nearby bin, pulling out a large headband. It's only when she gets back to me that I realise it has large, fuzzy cat ears on it. Wait, no, that's way too embarrassing. Come on. Kitty girls are basically the vanilla of cosplaying. It's not like I'm making you wear a typical outfit. You have no idea how perverted people can be with Neko girls. Yep, exactly. Maid cafes. Despite my protest, she stretches her hand up and slips them onto my head. I consider tugging them off, but I'm caught in her orbit of enthusiasm again. Wrapping an arm around me, she pulls out her phone and holds out for a selfie. Selfie time. Oh god, I look completely ridiculous with these things on. Especially standing next to June, who as always looks like she's in her element. Oh well, might as well let go and have some fun for the picture, right? Nozzle! Aww. I throw caution to the wind and do something silly and cute. The phone snaps a picture, and when I look at it, I see that it's captured June's face looking pretty shocked. Oh god, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. No, it's good, it's good. Besides, the picture's even cuter this way. Both of us laugh, but I still feel like there's something awkward is hanging in the air between us. June heads back to the dressing room to start the long process of taking her new costume off. As we're leaving the store with way more to carry than when we came in, June presses something fuzzy into my palm. I look down to see the pair of cat ears I'd worn in the photo. Walk quietly and quickly, I swiped those before anyone noticed. June, what? We can't just... God, Jackie, I'm kidding. You really need to catch on to jokes better. Don't worry, I paid for them. It's for you. June, I can't accept something like this. It's too much. Don't worry about it. I was already spending way too much money. So one extra thing hardly makes a difference. Yeah, if a percentage of the cost, it hardly makes a difference. But the actual cost must be pretty big. Besides, a thank you for coming with me today. Well, thank you. It's not like we can actually wear this ourselves in the other universe. I'll treasure them for as long as I can hide them in the closet where no one can see. See? Now that's more like the Jacqueline. No, jokes upon jokes. But you know, maybe you don't have to hide it. You could wear it tomorrow. You could come to the con with me. I can't, June. Why? Because there's a bunch of sweaty nerds rubbing into each other? Because it's basically a trap where people exchange your money for cheap merchandise? Because you secretly hate my very existence? No, hell no, it's because I won't be here tomorrow, stupid. Oh, I totally forgot about your universe hopping thing. Well, that's alright, I'll just convince the other you to come with me instead. She takes my insane situation with a great deal of stride. Well, that's June for you.